Hello and welcome to the Keep It Local Maine podcast, where we tell the stories of local business owners and Maine residents and learn more about what they do, who and what inspires them, their challenges, successes, and more. My name is Todd Regalinski.
And I am Kimberly Regalinski.
And we are the publishers of Keep It Local Maine, a local magazine that helps showcase local businesses to the people in and around their communities. Thank you for tuning in to our weekly podcast that you can subscribe to on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can learn more about us at keepitlocalmaine.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram through the links in the show notes. In this episode, we'll be talking with Jill Partridge, owner of Reform Physical Therapy. Jill has over 18 years' experience operating a physical therapy clinic with a master's degree in general management from Lesley College in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and an undergraduate degree in accounting and finance from Simmons College in Boston. Jill oversees the business side of Reform PT, including insurances, billing, and human resources. She was raised in Maine, and after operating 2 physical therapy clinics in Scituate and Norwell, Massachusetts after college, was eager to return.
Welcome to the show, Jill. We're so glad that you're here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yes, this is exciting because this is just a true entrepreneurial story. So I'm really excited to dig into this. So tell us, you were raised in Maine, but your career began in Massachusetts before coming home. Can you tell us about that journey and also how you came to work in managing physical therapy clinics?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Bangor. And decided when it was time to go to college that I wanted to be in the big city of Boston. Mm-hmm. I knew that, there was a part of me that always knew I would come back to Maine at some point, simply because I love the people here. I love the slower pace of life. So it was always a goal to get back. I just didn't know kind of how long that would take me. And so I went to Simmons. I played on the basketball team, and most of my teammates were physical therapists. And I was one of the few that was accounting and a finance major. So when I got done school, I went and worked a few years for a financial software company. And I had a friend approach me and said, I want to open a physical therapy clinic, but I don't know how to run a business. And I was tired of traveling, and I thought to myself, well, I really want to actually go to grad school, and I think I could run a business, so let's figure this out. And so it kind of developed from there. Mm-hmm. Once I finished grad school, I decided it was time to come back to Maine. I had done about 11 years down there and felt like it was just the right time for me to get back to my roots.
That's so cool.
Wow. That's pretty interesting, just how that connection starts with playing on a basketball team and realizing, like, I'm one of the only people who's not majoring in the same thing y'all are majoring in.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
So what position did you play?
I have to ask. I was a shooting guard. So yeah, it was a good time. My body took a beating, but it was fun. It was worth it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love basketball. And I always use this for kind of trivia with friends. Sometimes I get to say that I played in France.
Nice.
It's only because it's only because I had a boyfriend that was a professional basketball player, and I played on a pickup league.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, I love basketball, so that's so cool.
Leaving out all that important information. It's like they say in music. It's almost more about the notes that you don't play than the notes you do play.
That's right.
In a good story, it can be what you leave out.
That's right.
That sounds good.
So Reform currently has 4 locations. You're in Topsom, Yarmouth, Freeport, and Kennebunk.
Yep.
What are some of the challenges you've had managing in 4 different areas? And also, what have been some of the kind of the successes from that?
Sure. Obviously logistics is one of the biggest challenges. When I started, I actually worked in the Topsom office. And so I knew all the patients, I knew the therapist, I knew all of my coworkers really well. And now that we've expanded, Topsom actually got too big for me to actually be there. And so I had to move my office. And logistically, it's just that's tough for me. I liked interacting with the patients and knowing the patients. So that has been tough for me to be kind of more behind the desk and not seeing that interaction, and those people get better on a daily basis. But I think the communities in the state of Maine are so different from one another. And the way we've had to treat Kennebunk is so much different than how we treat Topsom. And it really comes down to really the people there. And all of these communities have embraced us. At first, you wonder, okay, how are people going to feel about a new business coming in? And everyone has been, it's been wonderful. So, it's really been unexpected at times that how the chambers and just the people of the community have really embraced us.
That's great.
So I'm a bit of a self-admitted systems geek. Are there any kind of systems or hacks or just ways that you've developed working that help you to coordinate, first of all, against across 4 locations, but also in filling that void of not knowing all the patients, and how have you kind of worked around that?
Well, so we've set reform up a bit differently than most PT clinics. We've gone with the whole smaller is better. So none of our clinics can accommodate more than 4 PTs, and we did it by design. I had gone to PT when I was in college, and I remember walking in, and even as a college athlete, I was intimidated. And I looked at an older lady sitting near me, and I thought to myself, if I were her age, I don't think I would ever come back here again. And so when I started this, I thought to myself, how do we make this feel like a Maine company and do it the way that people in the state of Maine actually like things? And I think we all still like that down home feeling that, that's why we're here. So in every location, I have a physical therapy supervisor who runs that clinic. So Kennebunk, it's Bobby. In Yarmouth, it's Tim. In Freeport's Delaney, and in Topsom, it's Christina, and they're my go-to people. They're my eyes and ears, and you just have to trust that they are doing what you want them to do, and it's been great. They've all just been wonderful, and it's completely made the success of Reform what it is today.
That's great. And you just opened the Freeport location is brand new. You just opened that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, we just opened that in July, and Delaney was a therapist in our Topsom office. And so we promoted from within, which I find to be awesome. And hopefully we can continue to do that as we grow.
That's great.
Wow.
I love that you tailored it to be Maine specific. I love that you just had that vision, and knowing where you've come from and knowing the people here, that you were able to do that you were able to kind of tailor around that. That's really cool.
Yeah. I think as healthcare has gone to a corporate world, we're not getting the quality of care that we used to receive. And that is the one thing that I wanted to change, and know that when people come to Reform, they're coming and they're not a number. For us, it means something. We want to be part of these communities. We want to make them better and make the people better. And that's our goal. And so for us, that's what gives us satisfaction.
That's great.
Yeah, it sounds like you actually include the overall experience as part of the care, instead of just like, the time that we actually spend working on this is the care, and the filling out paperwork and the lobby and the overall experience. That's not as important as this. And that sounds like such a great idea. I don't know why everyone doesn't do that. But.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think, when you're a corporation, a large corporation, and you have goals and deadlines and timelines to meet, and it makes it a lot more complicated. And so we're trying to get right back down to really what's the important part. It's really the patient. So, if it means that the patient comes in and they're satisfied, then that's success for us. That means we've done our jobs.
Yeah, that's great. So can you...
Actually, I have one more follow-up question. I'm like, sorry, I'm king of follow-up questions today. Do you find that kind of having an experience of playing on a basketball team, of being a team player, does that kind of help what you do now and how you think about your individual offices and teams?
Absolutely. I've always been an athlete, and teamwork makes the dream work, and we say it here all the time. And we're only as good as the weakest person. And so it doesn't matter what needs to be done. Everyone that I have on my team is more than willing to do whatever it is. I've never heard anyone say that's not in my job description. Nice. And that's just because I think we all realize that we're working for the same main goal, and we're having fun doing it. And I think that makes, a huge difference. If you're having fun at work, then going the extra mile for someone is not as big of a deal. And so people say to me all the time, where do you work? And very rarely do I say I am the owner of Reform Physical Therapy. I work at Reform. I couldn't do this without everyone else. I'm just part of the team. And, I think that means a lot to the people I work with.
I have to say kudos to you, though, because great leadership starts at the top and it trickles down. So that is a testament to your leadership.
Thank you. It's not always an easy task and concept to understand for sure.
Absolutely. So can you give us an overview of what someone can expect when they come to Reform Physical Therapy for the first time in what you offer your clients?
So I think one of the first things that I have to say that when I go into any of the clinics is that first person that you see is our patient care coordinator, and you can expect them to say hello and smile. And, a lot of people don't want to be there. They're in pain. They're not happy to be there. And that first initial interaction with that person means the world to a lot of people. And so it's kind of the cliche, when you answer the phone, you answer it with a smile. Well, that's one of the things that I say to everyone. If you hear that door open, and that's where you need to put yourself. You need to smile and then you come into Reform. And I think it's that feeling of, hey, they care about me as the individual. Our therapists are only treating one patient at a time. So it's one-on-one treatment. And that's very rare this day and age. Typically, a therapist has 2 and 3 people going at the same time, and they're jumping around from person to person. We at Reform feel like that's not the quality care that we want to give. And so you're going to see a therapist working with just one person. And that's the difference, I think, between us and others. And that first time, I think a lot of people are surprised by that.
That's great.
Yeah, that's again, it's one of those things that it seems to make so much sense.
I know.
But like Jill said, when you have larger corporations and things like that, that's part of what's going to either get left out or it's not as important. You have way too many other things going, which is good that the teams are here kind of small.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, we like it. We think it works, so we're going to go with it.
Good.
So I already kind of talked a little bit about this, but I kind of really feel like it's worth diving a little bit more into. How do you balance the business side of what you do along with the personal side?
I can tell you that every year I make that a goal for myself. I'm going to do a better job with that. And I think at the end of the year, I look back and I think, I was as bad at that last year as I was this year. And, I think as a small business owner, and I love what I do, it's hard for me to balance that. I still go home and I can put my phone away, but if I hear a ding, I might get up and force myself to, I have to get in that mind frame. You can't look because you're going to want to take care of the problem right then and there. And so, I am fortunate to have a partner that understands that this business means the world to me and is something that I'm passionate about. So I really can't say that I've done a very good job with that balance. It's certainly something that is, it's tough. As a small business owner, I don't really take quote unquote days off. I mean, I might go away on vacation, but I take my laptop, I take my phone. We don't work the typical 8 to 5 hours.
Right.
And that's fine with me. I think that's just something as a small business owner that you either decide when you start that that's kind of going to be your life or it's not. But that's what I think has made us successful and it keeps me going. So, again, New Year's resolution, I'll say to myself, okay, I need to figure this out. But I'll probably come back next year and tell you I still haven't figured that balance out very well.
Don't you think, though, it's a journey? I think it's, we've been doing this for 7 years now, and it is a journey. I mean, when you're in it, I think it takes time to really figure that out. I know, Todd, you've done that over the past year. We've been doing this for 7 years now, and in year 7, you're figuring out finally that balance and what that looks like to you.
And I'm hoping by year 14, you might join me.
And this is year 7, so I'm starting to catch on. I'm starting to catch on myself. But one of the things that you did, I thought was really cool as far as just finding that balance.
Well, I think it's more of a process.
It is a process.
Yeah.
It totally
it's a
is.
process. Yeah, and some days the process works, and some days the process gets just blown completely out of the water.
For sure. You just keep trying over and over again.
Yeah, and that's why I just think of it as a process. Like, okay, I just need to refine the process, or I need to tweak the process, because last week the process totally didn't work.
Yeah.
And then this week, hey, it seemed to work. All right, well,
yeah.
And you just keep on going.
Yeah, for sure. So as a business owner, how is it that you plan for growth?
So that's interesting because obviously in these times, it has been tough. Before COVID, we had set some goals, and then we were shut down for 8-9 weeks and came back, and I wasn't sure what direction to go in. I literally, for the first time in a long time, kind of sat back and said, I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. And so now we have set goals for ourselves as a company. We are looking to try to expand again this year, coming up 2022.
Wow.
And again, it comes down to like our Topsom clinic. They have 3 therapists and they're completely full. So we've done the right thing there. So we feel like that's where, all right, we'll find another location somewhere locally that we can still be around that community, but help more people. So yeah, we're still trying to grow. We're still, that's our goal. But it has been tough in this economy and with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Lots of risk, and you just don't know.
Right. Yeah. It's so cool to see how, just to look at how you've created this really effective model and how you can take that model and you can just bring it to another location. So it sounds like you guys really put a lot of thought into that.
Yeah, and I think it does come down to finding the right people, finding the therapist and the staff that want to buy into we want to make people better and do it the right way. So, it's not always easy. That takes a lot of time and effort and energy, but I think we're on the right track.
It's great.
Did you find that when you came back and you had that moment of just having to sit and say, I don't know?
Yeah.
Did you find how did that affect you, and how did
we all
have
went
you gone
through that?
forward
So
from
yeah,
that?
what was that like?
I'm personally, that was probably the worst time of my business career. I felt like for the first time in a long time, just, wow, all the hard work, and I'm not sure it's going to pay off. I'm not sure we're going to make it through this. And, I did everything I could I took out a personal loan. Like, I wanted to make sure that no matter what, when we came out on the other side, that I was standing there with all my employees and able to say, okay, we've made it through this and we're all still standing together and we're still a team. And that meant the world to me. But just that initial, like, what is going to happen here? Am I going to lose everything that I've worked so hard for? That was it was just a gut-wrenching experience.
Yeah.
Totally puts life into perspective for sure. Very humbling. And you just never know, right? Tomorrow, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. And kind of in that same vein, what would you say is the most valuable lesson you've learned in the last year, either in business or personally, or it might even be both?
Yeah, I think probably the valuable lesson that I've learned is that it can be gone tomorrow. And so you got to live for today, and you got to make sure you make the best of it. Do the right thing. Always do the right thing. No matter if you think you're right or wrong, just do the right thing. And that's how I go to bed and sleep at night. And so, I know that my team has worked hard for me and I'm working hard for them. And I want to do right by those around me. So patience and the team, those are the things that keep me going during the day. And that was a true eye-opener during this whole COVID experience.
That's awesome. I want to come work for you. Sorry, Todd.
That's all right. It was bound to happen at some point. It's been a good ride.
I love it. I got chills when you were saying that. It is. It just boils down to simplicity. It's like, just do the right thing and live each day. Because I love that. It's that simple.
It really is. And I think we all as humans, we get caught up on, well, what's the right thing? Is that the right thing? Is that the right? At the end of the day, whatever you can sleep with at night is probably the right thing. And that's kind of my motto is, if it doesn't mean that much to me and it means the world to someone else, then what's the harm?
Yeah. I love that. So we like to ask this because it's so interesting to hear the answers from just different people. But how would you say you define success?
Yeah, that is an interesting question for sure. and I think you probably could ask a million people and you'll get a million different answers.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people define it when, they stick a price tag on it, like it's money. Success to me is not money at all. Success is happiness. Success is walking into the grocery store with my Reform jacket on and someone coming up to me and saying, "Hey, do you work there?" "Yeah, I do." And then them telling me all about what a great experience they had. That's to me is success. And everyone has their own way of getting success and achieving that. And to each his own. This is where we're all different, and it's okay if your success is different from mine. And your definition is different from mine. It's just that ability to reach the goals that you've set for yourself. And, that changes for a lot of people day to day. I mean, it's an interesting philosophy, I guess, on what success truly is.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, the other question that we like to ask, because we are self-confessed inspiration junkies, is who or what inspires you?
So, to be quite honest, my dad was my inspiration. He passed away a few years ago, but I was a total daddy's girl. And he was the one that always taught me to do the right thing. And that was something that we would take long walks. When I was mouthing off, he would say, "Let's go for a walk." And that was his way of saying, "Hey, we got to talk." And he wasn't a man of many words, but, the things that I learned from him were work hard and be kind. And, that's who inspires me on a daily basis still. I can still hear him at night at times saying, "Did you do the right thing?" And so he truly has been an inspiration to me. His philosophy was, dream big, work hard, and stay humble. And I live by those words. They're on my wall here in my office. And I try to do that every day.
I'm going to write those down and put those on my wall. That makes my heart happy. Just hearing that just makes my heart happy. So say that again for us. Dream big.
Work hard. Stay humble.
Love that.
Yeah. I mean,
love that.
Yeah, coming from Bangor, Maine, I was always told I could do whatever I wanted in life. And as a young kid, you don't always believe that. But, this is what I chose to do. And I absolutely love what I do. And we have fun doing it. And I think that's important. I like to come to work every day. I love my teammates. So I feel like I've done the right thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's remarkably, it's usually a lot simpler than what we make it out to be.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, Jill, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you taking your time to tell your story, to share with us. And we'll be sure that we have links to all of your social media pages, the Reform Physical Therapy website, and people can get in touch with you. Can they make appointments online?
They cannot. We're actually working on that as we speak. We're developing a new website that should be launched prior to the end of the year. And they will be able to then. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, they can certainly call the offices and we try to get people in within 24 hours.
That's great.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure I include some phone numbers in the show notes as well.
Excellent.
So definitely be sure to go and to check out Reform Physical Therapy. And once again, thank you so
much for being here. We really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Thank you guys. I
Very
appreciate
inspiring.
it. Thank you.
And continued success in what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks. Same to you guys.